Welcome back, everybody. We're getting into season 2 of Samurai Jack, and we start the season off with a great fight of Jack versus some of Ku's bugs as Jack's trying to make his way to another teleportation device to the past. Unfortunately, as we've seen in the previous episodes, as soon as Jack gets close to that teleportation device, Aku shows up and snatches it away. Now, Aku and him have a little bit of a scuffle back and forth, but Aku is just pretty much mocking Jack at this point, and there's not much the samurai can do, so it's another L for Jack, sadly. Now, with the fight over with, Jack is in the forest having a meal, just recuperating after his loss to Aku, when all of a sudden his meal starts disappearing, and all he sees is a shadow just jumping away from him. And this leads us into one of our more goofy, interesting parts of this episode so far. Jack follows this man ape looking creature for a little bit, and then they get to meet up and talk, and the creature at least says that he's a man, but he doesn't look anything like human. And he's just like, "How are you flying away? Like, how are you floating?" And all the man says is he just jumps good. Like, if those are jumps, you need to be playing the NBA, my dude, because sheesh, he jumps like pretty much all the way to the atmosphere somehow. Now, the man takes Jack to his tribe, and they're all just a bunch of monkey-looking creatures, not with the tails, so they're like miniature apes, not gorillas. So I guess just monkey apes things. I'm not really sure. Chimpanzees maybe might be the best way to put it. But Jack spent some time with them. They seem friendly enough. They show off their jumping abilities. They're having some food. They welcome Jack in, and they have a nice little conversation. Learning that this individual that Jack has met was part of some kind of slave machinery thing where human slaves were forced to walk on a treadmill that forced a robot creature through the forest that was deforesting everything. For what purpose that was doing it, we don't know, but we just know that somehow this little guy was able to escape and live with the monkeys away from the enslavement that he was in. Now, with that story told, they sit down and start feasting on their food. Don't really have any table manners, but what do you expect? They're a bunch of animals, so they're going to eat like the animals. When all of a sudden there's some noises going on in the forest that causes the ape man and other chimpanzees to quickly run for the hills, leaving Jack just to sit there chewing on his food, interested like, why are you guys leaving? Which is a little bit weird for me because Jack usually has very heightened senses. So I would usually typically presume that Jack would also run and take cover because if everyone else is leaving, you kind of want to do the same thing, especially if these creatures just took to the trees. But I guess for this episode, Jack has to be just a simple dumb hero just for a little bit, and he just keeps on munching away. When all of a sudden, out of nowhere, a whole bunch of red gorillas just charge into the clearing, bash Jack aside, and start stealing the food and start munching down on it. Now, at this point, Jack's like, "Hey, what are you guys doing here? That's not your. Why are you here?" Now, they're gorilla. Now they are gorillas, so any normal person would be like, "Okay, that's understandable. They're just going to come in and eat the food and hopefully not eat any of the chimpanzees." But it's a cartoon, so we're allowed to play with it a little bit. And Jack tells him like, "Hey, that's not for you. Leave that food alone." And the gorillas just laugh at him. Now, the last thing you ever want to do is to laugh at the samurai. Because what he does next is he just lays down a can of whoop ass on those guys. He goes, grabs some bamboo sticks, and just goes to town like the motherfucker. Like a. Goes to town on those mother effers and just knocks them back and forth so badly they immediately get the heck out of Dodge. Now, this caused the other chimpanzees and the ape man to come down and celebrate that Jack was able to fend them off. Jack appreciates their thanks, but he asks, like, so why didn't you guys stand up and defend for yourself? And this is where we learn that the ape man's tribe is more of a peaceful tribe, but those red gorillas just keep on following them around and stealing their food and destroying everything, causing them to constantly leave, and it's just causing them massive frustration. And this is a good lesson for us to learn that although peace and pacifism is a good thing to have, if you don't defend yourself, if you're not willing to fight back, you're just getting rode over and, well, end up like what they did. Have everything that you love and care for get stolen. Seeing the conundrum, Jack offers to teach them how to defend themselves if in exchange they'll teach him how to jump good. So Jack starts teaching the ways of the staff. He shows them how to set up some traps, and once that's all completed, they then start their own train for Jack on how to jump good. Now, their training is a little bit unique. It consists of putting boulders on his legs, arms, and back. Now, true, once you cut those things loose, you're going to feel much lighter and have a springier step. So, I don't know how much permanent training that does, but it's a fun action sequence. At the very beginning, it looks like Jack is about to die from the weight, but step by step, he gets better at it. Fortunately, there's some tests and trials that he completely fails. He tries climbing up a vine that snaps under the weight. He tries walking a tightrope. He just falls from the great height. It just doesn't look like it's going well for a samurai. But, as these shows go, it just gradually shows us how Jack gets a little bit better at it and eventually is able to climb that vine with just his hands, and when it's about to snap, jump to another one, and, he's able to eventually get to the point where once he gets rid of the boulders, he's able to jump just as high as the monkeys and the ape man. Now, with that done, he says goodbye to the ape troop and he leaves them be and heads for his next encounter with Aku. Now, as Jack is leaving the forest, he hears a bit of commotion going on from behind him, so he quickly rushes back to where he had just left the ape tribe, and he sees that the red gorillas are having a full-on war with the ape men. But it's going a little bit differently than what was going on before. The traps are being sprung, the ape men are able to finally knock them back a pace or two, and finally throw them all into a giant slingshot and sending them flying away. It was pretty great. I enjoyed watching it. Now, with that complete, Jack nods to his ape buddies and walks away, leaving them in their victory for being able to defend their homes. That's very important. It shows that if you're willing to stand up for yourself and fight for what you think is right and don't let people tread on you, that this will be the kind of result you can expect. Now, it is a kid's cartoon, so it doesn't show a whole lot of blood or anybody that died from the encounter, but it is an important lesson that from young minds to learn from. With that said, Jack goes back to face Aku to try to get to that teleportation device one more time, and Aku just continues to mock him when Jack surprises him that he has his jump good ability. I'm sorry, I just love that. And Aku's just like, you can fly now? And he's just like, nah, jump good. And he slices Aku. Now, it does end there, so of course he hasn't killed Aku again. But still, I love the way that they ended the episode. It was pretty great, so I personally enjoyed it a lot. Now, there are some great lessons, as I said, to learn from this cartoon of standing up for yourself, that although pacifism is a good thing, excessive pacifism will only lead to your stuff getting destroyed, so eventually you do have to stand up for yourself and not let others take things, and that hard work will eventually provide you with the ability to overcome an obstacle that you couldn't defeat before. Although, since it's Samurai Jack, we have to presume that he doesn't actually succeed in getting his time teleportation device. Overall, I personally just really enjoyed the episode. As I said previously, the lessons that you learned from this episode I thought would be great for kids, and it just was entertaining and fun overall. So I'm going to give this a 9 out of 10, and I want to hear what you guys think. What do you think of this bit of a goofy episode? Would you have laughed at it as a kid, or did you watch it as a kid and you're just like, oh my god, what's going on here? I'm just curious to hear what you guys got to say. Leave a like and subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one. You guys have a good one. Bye.